Hey everyone, just wanted to say happy Saturday. Hope you're enjoying your day. It's beautiful out here in Chicago. It's just, if you can see in the back there, the beautiful colors. The leaves are changing. They're orange, brown, and red. Just some beautiful colors. It's a beautiful Saturday. I just wanted to say that today is kind of a bittersweet day because my family is celebrating the life of one of my cousins, and it's always good to see family. Unfortunately, sometimes it has to be under not so great circumstances, but it's always good to come together. Like, family is everything. It's great if you have family, if you have people around you, extended family. To me, that's just so important. Like, it's just like the foundation of who I am. And a lot of times it's you're forced to deal with all different types of personalities. And I get along great with my family. I just want to love on them. When I see them, it's all love. I don't feel like I see them enough, but I do realize that there are times when you have to do what you have to do. Sometimes you have to separate yourself from certain people in your family in order to keep peace. My family has been blessed. I'm grateful that we had a praying grandmother who blessed her children, who blessed us. And even though no family's perfect, we've had rifts, we've had bouts when certain sections are not getting along with other sections of the family, and you really just have to, at the end of the day, do what you can to keep the peace. And really, when you have a family who has God at its center, whose foundation is God, that has definitely helped to, I think, keep us together. Our glue, there has to be a foundational spiritual glue. And I'm grateful for a grandmother, a grandfather, who have long passed away, but they instilled, just faith in their kids, and they passed it down to us. And so you really just have to pray for your family, pray for peace. I prayed for a long time for a couple, cousins who didn't get along. I prayed for them to just come together. I prayed for our family to be back how it was when I was younger. Sometimes when the grandmother dies, Big Mama's often the person who's holding the family together. And sometimes when she passes away, like the family kind of breaks off a little bit and does their own thing, because that person who was the glue is no longer there. And it becomes sometimes harder to resolve issues because you don't have that one person saying, hey, get it together, work it out. We're a family. And so when the older generation starts to die off, it's up to the younger generation to make an intentional decision to stay together, to stay in touch, to stay in communication, because the kids after that generation are going to need that. There are kids, even in our family, that don't know that they're cousins because they've never met. And I think that it's something that really we have to work on. We definitely have to make sure we stay in touch and keep in touch and be intentional about keeping in touch relationships with each other. Because sometimes when life happens, people get married, they find their own family units, they become their own unit, they join their husband or their wife and that person's family, their in-laws, and you can get caught up in being a part of a different unit, to where your original unit, you're not attending those gatherings as much. You're not going to the Thanksgiving at Auntie's house anymore, because now you have your partner who you have to consider their family and give and take. And that's what marriage is. That's what it means to have someone in your life, which means the family is growing. But at the same time, it's so important to keep those original roots and maintain connections. And so as the family grows, there's different sections that go further and further away from that original unit. And so it becomes sometimes harder to get everyone back together, which in a tree, a family tree, the branches branch out. But you have to sometimes come back to those roots. Unfortunately, those roots are often, we often come back to those roots when there's a death in the family. And family reunions are a great way to connect to your roots. And I know we have not had one on a particular side of my family for a long time. And it seems like the only time we all see each other is when someone passes away. So it's so important to connect with family. If you have a tight family unit, if you have family that you haven't spoken to in a long time, try to connect with them. Try to work it out. You know, life is short. You don't know how long people are going to be here. People do change. You have to pray for that. Sometimes you have to pray for change. You have to pray for God to mend broken relationships. You have to pray for, just things to be repaired. And sometimes, we don't want to necessarily initiate that because we feel like someone wronged us. We feel like, oh, it's their fault. If they just, hadn't said this, or if they hadn't done that, I'm not messing with them no more because what they did wasn't right. I'm not going to say you should always be the bigger person, but at some point you really do have to consider that that person's not going to always be there. And so what is it worth to you to keep the peace, or to have, what's it worth to you to keep the family together for future generations? If you can salvage it, please salvage it. If you can mend those, broken areas and right wrongs, please do that. Now there are instances where there's issues that are irreparable. Is that the word? Issues of, just unimaginable things that can tear a family apart, that you don't want to, it's impossible to come back from. Abuse or incest or molestation, cheating sometimes breaks a family up. And so I'm not saying try to, force it, because you don't want to force things without healing from that and getting therapy. But it is important, if there's just a rift in the family, or rift between sisters, brothers, cousins, whoever you were close to that you may not be close to anymore, just try to take steps to mend that. Ask God to change your heart. Ask God to change that person's heart so that y'all can meet in the middle. Just wanted to say that as I come from a family gathering where I saw my family. It's all love. I love my cousins. I love my aunts, my uncles. I'm so glad to still be in the presence of them and be in the presence of wisdom. And that's another thing too. When you have older people, try to talk to them. Try to see what their experiences are like. Ask them about certain things. They have so much wisdom that they will share if someone will listen. The problem is that we don't have time for them, and they're just waiting for us to ask because they do want to share. And it's amazing what you can find out about your family if you just ask. So I just wanted to talk about family today. And my condolences are with my cousin, his wife. And just keep family first, keep God first, and everything will work out. All right? Okay, take care, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Talk soon.